The Tim and Tony podcast is brought to you by
Tim. Do you care about sustainability?
I do.
Do you care about comfort?
I very much do.
Do you care about style?
A little bit.
Do you care about just looking good?
I really do. I really do care about all those things. I didn't mean to put sustainability. It feels like I put sustainability a little lower on that list than I should have.
It
But I care
sounded
about
like it.
those things deeply.
And in fact, sustainability is actually one of the best parts about what I'm about to talk about. Allbirds, they make incredible shoes. They make incredible clothing. They make incredible socks. Tell us about it, Tim.
Welcome to the program, Allbirds. We're happy to have you on board.
Absolutely.
These are, no exaggeration, the most comfortable fucking shoes I've ever worn in my entire life.
And you don't have to just wear them when you're having sex.
That's right. That's right. I can't believe we just put that in an ad. They look great. They feel better, and they're good for the planet. This is a little bit different than we've done in the other ones. We're going to attach the link to go to Allbirds, where you can pick up not only a pair of shoes, a shirt. They're making joggers. They've got shorts, whatever you want. You buy anything on the store, you get a free pair of socks with it on us. If you do go to the store and buy some Allbirds, please use the link that's in the description of this podcast.
Yes, and they don't do deals like this. This is like the only one out there. Like, this is the one deal. So that's what we're bringing to you guys. You should do it. Get the stuff because it's a great company and they make great stuff.
Tony, before we had this podcast and we received this next wonderful sponsor, we both struggled with our fashion game, specifically and especially our gym fashion game, which is an underrated part of going to the gym.
Yes.
Please tell the people how they can get more excited about going to the gym and what company they can go to buy some stuff that'll make them feel better.
So what's great is, wow, interesting. We're keeping that in. So all you got to do is go to titlewear.com, because what you're going to find there is you're going to find some of the most comfortable and flattering, might I add, gym wear on the market. They got hoodies, they got sleeveless hoodies, they got tank tops, they got t-shirts, they got shorts, they've got compression pants, and they've got sports bras, they've got leggings, they've got all of it. It's fantastic. The quality is amazing. It's made for workouts, so they're durable, and it's just plain comfortable. So, Tim, what's that promo code?
Very easy to remember. It is TNT15. That's TANDT15. That's 15% off your entire order. You can order one thing. You can order 13 things. You can order 100 fucking things. It's 15% off the entire order at title.com.
And if you want to order 100 fucking things, you do it, and you do it with the promo code TANDT15. Tim, why do you use Bucked Up?
Because, Tony, everybody needs a little help in their life. I found out a few years ago that I needed that extra push to actually do my workouts at the level that I wanted to be doing them at, and to get the results that I wanted to out of working out. And so, one of the most frustrating things is when you're hitting the gym as hard as your body will allow you to, and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. These supplements will really help you get to that next level, get to that next step, and push you to hopefully reach your goals. So that's why I use it.
Bucked Up. It tastes fantastic, and it helps you work out. Get it, use it. We have a promo code, right?
We do. Promo code, very easy to remember. It's T and T20. Get 20% off your Bucked Up order. They have supplements, every single one you can think of, shirts, hats, fucking joggers, anything you could possibly want. They've got it.
Fucking
TNT
joggers.
TNT 20. Get 20% off your entire order today online, buckedup.com.
TANDT 20. So Tim, it's 2021. You're on social media, right?
Barely.
And
Try to avoid it.
And you watch at least some television, correct?
A little bit. Not any of the famous cable news channels, though. I try to avoid those.
But like, not many times does a movie that has 3 certifiable superstars come out without your knowledge, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what you're referring to right now, but no.
So we're going to be doing a movie called Red Notice. I was not aware of this movie's existence until a couple days after it came out, starring The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot.
Do you follow The Rock on social?
I don't, because it's not.
Do you follow Ryan Reynolds on social?
I do, and I didn't see it.
All right.
And I also follow Gal Gadot. So
yeah,
I don't know how I didn't see it. Yeah, see,
that's the only one I don't follow. After the whole Imagine thing, I was out.
So yeah, I muted her for about a month and then came back. She's got some good content. She's very funny. But
I wanted to claw my brains out with like a candlestick from her fucking Imagine video. I unfollowed. I might have blocked her. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what I did.
So you text me about this movie. I'm like, okay. I mean, I do a movie podcast and I stay pretty up to date regardless of my podcasting habits on the movies of the day. I had no idea. And I was pleasantly surprised. And on that note, Elvis Monroe, please play us in.
In a crowded room, somewhere in town.
So Tim, can we just start out? Rotten Tomatoes can go fuck itself.
I haven't looked at the rating on this because you don't. To me, the movies like this and Marvel movies, the rating doesn't actually matter unless it's super high or super low. If it's between 50 and like 75, I don't want to hear about it.
So it's 36.
That seems about right.
Hard disagree. So
seems about right.
So yeah, 36, but right where it needs to be. The audience score is at 92. And that's just correct. This movie is a revelation. This movie, I went from never knowing about its existence to now wondering how we haven't gotten 90 of these injected into my veins.
You're about to, trust me.
I can't wait. So how the fuck, basically, did I not know that there was a movie starring The Rock, Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, directed by the guy that made Dodgeball, the guy that made Central Intelligence? How did I not know about this? Like,
to be honest, I think you're just not on social enough.
Maybe not. And
I don't think you're following the right people.
That actually makes me feel good though, because I thought I was on social.
I'm not going to pretend like I've been waiting for this movie with bated fucking breath.
Yeah.
But for the week or so leading up to it,
you've been aware.
Yeah. But it's also like, when is The Rock not posting about some movie that he's got coming out? So it did just kind of brush off me. I'm like, oh, I'm sure he's got a movie. I assumed he had a movie coming out because he always does. But
yeah,
when I saw it on Netflix, I was like, I didn't know that Ryan Reynolds was in it. I didn't know that Gal Gadot. Whatever. You got me.
Yeah. And then Mr. Tres Comas is also in it, but we'll get to him. He's
my favorite.
He's fantastic. So the movie starts out the way that I would imagine many Republicans thought that where 3D printing was going to go. That's right where I thought that's where they probably thought that we were going to go with that technology. People just making fakes of shit because they're scared. And
Well,
it's,
I mean, it basically starts out with them doing a mock of Ocean's 12.
Yep.
They've got a golden fucking egg on a brown pedestal,
yep.
and it's a fake, and it looks just like the one they steal in Ocean's 12, like identically. So
It's,
I mean, hey, look, I enjoyed it. Pouring the Dr. Pepper on it was, Dwayne Johnson's a cop again. It just all felt
well, maybe.
I'm talking about the beginning of the fucking movie. I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm saying like what I reacted to the beginning of the fucking movie.
Yeah. Someone that's so unbelievably famous, but they're going to be like a secret agent and it's like a spy thing. It's like, okay, yeah, Brad Pitt's a spy. This is great. This is fantastic. Then we start, as every single great speech starts, they start with a Webster's Dictionary definition of the word red notice. That's when we learned that that's an international term for, people that are the highest of wanted in the international policing community. Ryan Reynolds, he shows up, he's in the crowd, he's there. And it's just perfect because then we get a chase scene, and a very believable chase scene, because you and I both know that if it was a running away contest, Ryan Reynolds would, pardon the pun, run away with that. But when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, yeah, of course, The Rock's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, Daddy had to go to work. I was waiting for it. I mean, they did make the one kind of Fast and Furious reference later on, but
kind of.
I was waiting for the Daddy has to go to work type stuff.
Yeah, where I mean the dialogue that starts out in this movie is just peak level. Yeah, we're not trying to win Oscars here, guys. Where it's like he walks in and he goes, "All right, let's go to work," and it's just it's fantastic. And he's wearing, and we get the joke, the statement jacket.
Yeah,
it's a statement piece. It's way too nice for some just like random ass FBI agent,
for some detective to have.
Yeah. We get the quote, "You don't look like a profiler." Yeah, I get that a lot. I appreciated that they were willing to acknowledge the absurdity of having The Rock in this role.
Because I mean, a giant human being playing this part,
just a walking muscle playing this part. Yeah, it's perfect. And it's very believable that The Rock can't keep up with Ryan Reynolds. We get that chase scene, which was pretty well done. I mean, it's a $200 million budget movie, so the action sequences are probably gonna be pretty enjoyable and pretty solid. They were. Then we get that first step that shows that we're going to be subverting every single trope by making fun of it and doing the opposite. We get the like Beastie Boys. We're going to go in the Porsche. Oh man, let's go. We're about to get like a James Bond chase down scene. And then he crashes about 5 seconds in. It's perfect.
I thought you were going to go straight to the "we're going to make it" Rose, but I guess we're going to.
I was going to hold. I was going to hold that until the end, but yeah, no, that was another thing in this movie that was. It just set the tone. It set the tone for what I was about to watch, and I'm assuming you know this, but for the listeners, that was not planned. The director texts Ryan Reynolds saying, "Hey man, what do you want it to say on your boat?" And then apparently like a couple seconds later, just mere seconds later, "We're going to make it Rose," which again, for those of us that don't know, it's a reference to Titanic. It's what
nobody's listening to this podcast that doesn't know that. You're like, for people who don't know, the sky was blue today.
Yeah, okay, fair
it
enough.
Usually is. Yeah.
That's you might be right about that. Then we get Ryan Reynolds escapes and he goes to this just gorgeous, gorgeous house. But of course, The Rock's there. The Rock's there.
That's how his movies work.
But Ryan Reynolds first is drinking from an aviation gin bottle, which is perfect. Again,
A lot of product placement in this movie.
a ton. The Porsche Taycan gets, the product placement, and very I've driven one for a few miles. That thing is sick. But yeah, we get Ryan Reynolds' gin, and then The Rock just sitting there, much like James Bond, just, hey man, what's up? And that was the first part where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they just don't give a fuck. Like, not only are they going to be doing all these references and shit, but they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and The Rock is back playing a bad cop who's bad at his job, who let the guy get away, but then he's in the living room.
Yep.
It's like, you didn't spot Ryan Reynolds in a hoodie? Like the hoodie threw you off when he was in the crowd. That was his whole disguise.
Yeah,
he had like a hood on.
That's always been my problem with these spy heist movies.
When they're bad at their job.
Well, not only that, but okay, Ryan Reynolds doesn't blend into a crowd. Even if he's not famous, he's just a very attractive human being. And so people are going to remember his face, which is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing for someone that's trying to be incognito. You would be a great spy. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. I actually am one in my off time.
Yeah.
I don't have.
So then we get Dez and the Interpol forces. They show up to the house, and we get one of my favorite quotes of the entire movie. I get to choose which one of them, being the countries, that gets to detain you until trial. Given your escape history, what are you, 6 for 6 now? And then Ryan Reynolds, in the only way that he can. Yeah, one more, and I get a Shawshank jacket. I had to pause the movie because I was laughing too hard at that point, and then I had to go back and write down the quote. But just perfect. Though I very doubt that her Instagram page is the worst place in the world, in history.
Yeah, that was weird. That felt mean. That felt just a little too mean there.
And they did it twice. They did a callback to it. And it's just that I don't know. I didn't know about that one.
Was that the first? I forget if he says this earlier on or if it's later when he talks about the Rock's jacket, and he's like, somewhere there's a very. Oh, is that later?
No, that was somewhere before.
Okay, somewhere there's a very nude cow. He's whispering, "Worth it." I mean, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's objectively there were parts of this movie that I was like, okay, the 16-year-olds in the room are laughing, but
yeah,
not that funny. And then there were other parts like that where it's like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And so there's so many moments in this movie, and this is the genius of Ryan Reynolds, that now he's just going to continue to play the exact same person from here on out, and I hope he does. I hope he just plays the same exact character.
He's just an offshoot of Deadpool now in every movie that he's playing.
Yeah,
essentially.
Which is that's exactly
in Hitman's Bodyguard. He's playing Deadpool
when he does the cameo in Hobbs and Shaw. That's exactly what he's doing.
It's just a quick talking idiot who's also really good at his job for some reason.
Somehow. Then we get introduced to Gal Gadot. She's in the movie, and it's so exciting because we get the egg, and then we put it in the armored truck that Ryan Reynolds isn't in.
Good redemption movie for Gal, I was gonna say, because Wonder Woman 1984 was horrendous. Not her fault, terrible. But it was an awful movie that I never want to see again.
Here's my favorite but to say always, though. It was shot very well. Looked beautiful.
Yeah, except for all the extras having iPhones and weird shit like that.
Tim. No, we're not going to talk about that, Tim.
But plus, she's literally the butt of almost every late night comedian's joke whenever they want to talk about. Well, at least it wasn't as bad as. And then they shoot to her singing Imagine, even though she wasn't the only one on that one. She was the first one.
She was just the first one. So she was literally the face of it.
Yes. And even I made fun of it at the beginning.
You did.
It wasn't nice.
Yeah. So we get introduced to Gal Gadot. She's in the movie. She runs away with the egg. Then we go back to Rome, where, I mean, we're just assuming that The Rock's the bad guy, and then come to find out that, you know, she framed him to do like a quadruple cross, all that good shit. But like, for what we knew at that point in the movie, there was like no evidence to suggest that it was The Rock. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So like, I mean, yeah, he's sitting there with that just scarf in the middle of summer, it looks like. So yeah, I mean, you're not wrong for wanting to throw him in jail for that, but I mean, come on. It didn't seem like we had enough evidence.
It was like, okay, he had all this money transferred to his bank account, and then he's what, sitting at the hotel bar?
Yeah.
Just like hanging out? No disguise. It's like, all right. I mean, I'm not saying that means he's innocent. I get, and by the way, they were not technically throwing him into prison. That's where you have to get into the action world of this. He was not in prison. They were just detaining him for questioning, basically. And they sent him to this high security prison where he had to be in the same room with Ryan Reynolds because it's a movie.
Because it's perfect. And, you know, their chemistry was just perfect. Just amazing.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is one of the few people whose charisma can actually match The Rock's.
Yeah.
That like he can be on the same screen with him and it doesn't feel weird. Like if The Rock was on the same screen as like Tom Cruise or like Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio, it would just feel weird. Like there'd just be something off about the two people. Whereas Reynolds is in that same mold where he's funny and charismatic, and we just go to watch him because he's so entertaining. Not necessarily because what he's doing is incredible acting, although I do love most of the things Reynolds has done. But
so the thing with Reynolds is he's a good actor, but not in the way that like he's not film snob good actor. He's just good actor in the sense that he's entertaining. Like Leonardo DiCaprio. I
don't know that he's acting with that though. I mean, you watch interviews with him, it's more like he's just playing Ryan Reynolds in a movie.
But what I'm saying is
like if Ryan Reynolds scripted out everything he was going to say, he would probably sound like the character in this movie.
Yeah. And, you know, whether you want to call it acting or him just literally showing up and just fucking around, it's kind of the same thing.
That's what I'm calling it.
Yeah. Okay. And that's fair because I'm sure that's exactly how he would describe it. And he's very, very, very wealthy for it. But it would feel weird if like a Tom Cruise or like Matt Damon or someone like that were in this movie, because like, all right, man, like these guys have won Oscars, like, and we're pairing them up with The Rock. Like The Rock isn't the world's greatest actor in the world. He's just kind of The Rock.
No, and he plays one guy.
Yeah.
He also has one note
that
he can hit, that he hits it over and over and over again, and people love it. And that's fine. That's fine by me. I mean, I'm glad that we have one last person that has universal approval. Don't fucking run for president, The Rock, as he's been hinting at. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we don't need to go there. I don't even want to speak that into existence. So
already said it.
Tim, we then get to, they're in the cell together. They're talking about how they're going to get out and meet Sottovoce. Would you want an I probably have a tiny penis villa in Valencia?
Oh, that's
regardless
hilarious.
of the implications.
100%. I mean, that place is sick. First of all, I would absolutely love. I have a tiny penis.
You'd absolutely love having a tiny penis. Okay, that's what I'm taking from that. So then we get Ryan Reynolds just being a complete asshole and just telling everybody he's a cop. Now, at the time, I'm thinking like, oh, he's just
in multiple languages.
In multiple languages, yes. Acting. That's capital A acting. Was that the biggest ass kicking The Rock's ever gotten in a movie?
I think it's the only time he's ever allowed himself to get his ass kicked that bad.
Yeah.
because in every other role he's ever played, he's famously rejected it being clear that he lost.
Right.
In this one, this guy just walks up and beats the shit out of him.
And
I don't even
does
think he
nothing.
got a shot in.
No.
I
No,
think
he didn't.
tried and missed, if I remember right. Like he took a swing at him and he fucking missed.
Yeah.
So that is not something that I believe I've seen before. And good on him, because it's really weird to be that like pompous and arrogant to be like, no, I can never lose a fight. Like he's gonna be in a superhero movie, for God's sake. Like you can't ever lose a fight. It's gonna be really, really fucking boring.
Yeah. Well, this isn't Fast and Furious, so we're not having to count punches. So then we get Gal Gadot revealed as the Bishop, which, you know, pretty solid. Again, like Bond villain-y, like chair spin was solid. I liked it. Quote, I don't know where the third egg is, I swear to God. And then on the recording, I know where the third egg is, I swear to God.
It's the best.
So they're making escape plans. And then another quote, why are you wearing the hairnet? You're bald.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait to say that to you in a few years, because it's going to be, it's because then I'm going to do the callback to this movie and we're going to see, you're not having a laugh out of it. I thought you were going to have a laugh.
I don't know. You think I'm going to live that long? I think I got a few more years.
That's a fair point. I mean, you know, if we keep working as much as we are.
Yeah, we need to get into tech. These people work like the TikToks are hilarious with that, by the way, where it's like my friend in tech makes 3 times as much as me, works like 2 hours a day. I'm over here working until like 9 p.m. just to get by.
Yeah.
Chose the wrong career path. I don't know.
We did. Can you fly a helicopter? Does the back of your head look like a huge penis? The answer is yes.
I was one of those 16-year-olds in the theater laughing.
Yeah. And
just,
you know, and a lot of people are saying, oh, you just like blew past the whole exit or escape scene. Here's the thing. They escaped.
They were in prison at the beginning of an action movie. They were going to escape.
They escaped. And
That's what happens.
You know, they, Ryan Reynolds planned ahead, had the rock, had a little pebble, pulled it out, and then they got out. They're on a ledge, all that good stuff.
This isn't Prison Break, folks.
This isn't Prison Break.
It's not that complicated.
Great show, but when you get to the 6th season and you've had about now 5 prison breaks.
Yeah, you think it loses it at that point? You think at season 6 is where it loses it? Because most people get to like halfway through season 2 and they're just like, this is awful.
Here's the thing.
Season 1 was good, but season 2 is so bad. It's unwatchable. Like it really is. You can't watch season 2.
Here's the thing. They get out, and I thought it was like, okay, now they're going to do like, okay, now what happens when you're out? And then they do this whole thing with like Scylla. I don't know how much you've watched Prison Break, but I love that show. But like they just keep getting thrown in jail, and then they end the show in a very good way, and then they bring it back. And it's like, hey, guess what? They're back in prison. I'm like, fuck. Damn it, guys. Yeah, you almost had the perfect ending. Anyways.
And Tony watched all of it.
And I did. And I was Tony
watched every
angry.
second of it. Like, fuck, they're back in jail. Well, I guess I gotta watch this horrible show.
Yeah. They had me in chokehold. So then we get the it had to be in there, the slow motion jump across the abyss with the rope ladder falling, he grabs on, all that good stuff. Then
I'm pretty sure I was on my phone for that scene. I've seen it so many times. Didn't even look up.
Then my favorite quote, my absolute, without a doubt, favorite quote of the movie. Oh, you made it. Thank God. I was praying for you. And then The Rock, don't give me that shit. You're going to leave me? You said save yourself. No, I said go, but I didn't mean without me. You said go save yourself, and I was going to carry you with me in my heart like an eternal flame, you stupid complainer.
It's perfect.
I don't know if I want that line to be written or improv, because either one would make me happy. But it was a perfect moment that if the Oscars weren't so stuffy, they might actually get something for some of these scenes, because it's some of the best comedy that I've seen in a long time.
Oh, it's funny. This movie is legitimately funny.
Yeah.
And I would just like to take a second. There have been we really haven't had great comedy movies in a long time. Like, what's the last one that you went to and like sincerely enjoyed?
Ooh.
Like, for me, it's been a while, because in the mid 2000s, like when we were young teenagers, was really kind of the heyday of when these are coming out. And then it's like the last 6 Will Ferrell movies are unwatchable.
Oh, they're terrible.
I know I've said that word now twice in a podcast, but they're unwatchable. Like, you can't get through them. Like, they're just not funny. And I mean,
is the other guys the last like great comedy?
I mean, I would classify Deadpool as a comedy.
Okay.
And so Deadpool, but ironically, that's with like the same comedic voice as this one.
Yeah. Both literally and figuratively.
I don't know. It's weird to me. I think it's a lot of comedies don't ever get the love that they're supposed to get from the critics or from the public at large, and they're just kind of seen as something that's over here. But this movie is funny, and that's not easy to do.
Well, now Todd Phillips is making the Joker, so because we're too afraid of being canceled nowadays.
I was not going there with it.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Todd Phillips is now too afraid to make comedies.
No, I wasn't going there. First of all, like, this whole cancel culture ruined comedy thing, you guys need to spend like 2 seconds watching stand-up on Netflix to know that's not true. We're in one of the best ages of stand-up comedy in a long time. That's why I don't know why the comedic movies aren't where they need to be.
Yeah, we are in a fucking golden age of comedians. I can name like 15 different new comedians that aren't, the ones that have been going for the last 20 years. Just off the top of my head, I can sit here and name
that are really good.
They're fucking awesome.
So I hate that take. And
it's
I
lazy.
want to be sure that
it's lazy.
It's a bad take. We've been making bad comedies. It happens.
Yeah.
We've had, like, there's been weird eras like this, by the way. Like, the 80s were really good for comedies. 90s kind of goes away a little bit. 2000s comes back.
Not the early 2000s, though, because if I remember correctly, the early 2000s, right after 9/11, nobody wanted to make a comedy.
Yeah, and what I'm kind of thinking with this is that it just felt like everybody was so fucking angry during the 5-6 years of Trump that it was like all we could do was just make think pieces.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's kind of like, okay, after being in my house for the last like year, not being able to do anything or see anybody without worrying about killing my grandparents.
Yeah.
I'd really like to just sit down and laugh for a couple hours at some stupid shit. So
yeah. And we got it in this movie. We really did. Then we get the rocket, of course, goes through the helicopter, which was solid. Right. That was the one Fast and Furious action, like, little moment that was good. Then we get the Gal Gadot sort of torture scene that ends with "I know your browser history," which is just a brutal below the belt move.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't mean to jump the gun, but you said below the belt.
Yeah.
Did she really need to hook him up to the balls? I don't know.
We'll get that. And then I just have noted, oh my God, the rich dude's the Trace Comas guy.
Oh, he's that guy
who's also in The Office. He's
the perfect sleazy billionaire. He's just ideal for that role. Like, he seems like a good guy in person. I've watched interviews with him. Like, he's actually not a douchebag, but he plays a really good douchebag.
Yeah. It just made me happy when I saw him on screen because we have so much history with him. We have him in Silicon Valley. We have him in The Office. Pretty sure he was in Three Stooges as well. Like, he's just in so many things. I'm pretty sure I saw an article that says that he has over 100 screen appearances, which is just that's insane. That's very
He's
impressive.
Just everywhere.
Yeah. You're like a well-dressed wall.
Yeah.
as they're, trying to go get the egg at Trace Comas's house at the
There's really
I
no,
Have a Tiny Penis
you
Village
can't-
villa.
What was fucking weird is that there is no way to have The Rock in a movie without commenting on how fucking ridiculously huge he is. And it's one of the mistakes they make in some of these movies is like they'll do kind of an offhanded thing. But no, it's like if this guy was actually like in a room with you, you wouldn't be able to say or think about anything other than this is just this walking mass that I can't even believe is like the same species as I am.
Every 5 minutes, you encounter a situation where it just changes the way that you move about a room. Like, because he's just a fucking huge guy, and just he's bald, and it's just he's very apparently there in the room. Then we get, again, Republicans are scared, deep fakes, except for that one. Probably actually should be worried about deep fakes, but
I'm a little worried about deep fakes.
Yeah, we probably should, but defect technology works in this movie. And that's how they get past all the.
Is that what we're taking away from it?
Yeah, hey, it works, man. We should try and get into the Department of Education using deepfake technology and wipe out some student loans. You don't look like an English major. So Tim,
I enjoyed that one.
I have to ask, did anyone in your classes look like The Rock?
No. No. There wasn't a lot of gym douchebags in the English lit community. A lot of people who like cigarettes, ironically. And weed in general, but
yes, absolutely.
But not a lot of people who were obsessed with pumping weights all the time.
So speaking of obsessed with pumping weights, so they get to the jewel room or whatever the hell he wants to call it. They get caught, and then they get taken to below.
Oh, come on, you're gonna just bounce right over Ryan Reynolds and he's doing the Indiana Jones theme music as he's going down.
Doesn't that happen like way later?
God, how far are we in this movie? Are we like
that happens way later?
Are we even halfway through this goddamn movie?
Yes, Jesus. We're halfway through. But good to know that you just want to get done with this. Jesus, Tim.
Jesus.
Do you have somewhere to be?
Yes.
You do. Okay.
Well, sleep.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and hurry it up for you then. Sorry about that.
I appreciate it.
That's a pod first. Okay. So and now oh yeah. So we get Ryan Reynolds and The Rock get taken to what's supposed to be like a modern day Coliseum. They're underneath that.
I got the impression that it was one of the old ones where they still do shows at.
Yeah.
It's been like renovated, but
yeah.
Because it was still in Rome.
So Gal Gadot takes the jumper cables to The Rock's nuts.
Just didn't like that. Especially when you learn about like what's actually going on later. It's like, could you just like put him just below or like
or not shock him? You don't have to shock him.
You could have shocked Ryan Reynolds.
But you didn't, but you could have just faked it. Like, since you're in on it, Ryan Reynolds is literally turned the other way. You don't have to shock The Rock.
Really good demonstration of why torture doesn't work. You don't torture the person you want information from. You torture the other guy that they care about. It's actually very smart.
Yeah.
Not, in a Dick Cheney, we should apply this, but just from a strategy standpoint, like don't put the jumper cables on the guy's nuts you want information from. He'll just start telling me stuff.
Yeah. Don't be listening, Dick. Then Trace Comas, he's done listening to this bullshit. He takes his shirt off. Why is your shirt off? Why is his shirt off? I don't know.
It's awesome.
Just rips it off.
He's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I hand it to him. He is in good shape. Like, good for him.
Yeah, he looks great. And because I'm pretty sure he's not in his 20s, or I don't even know if he's in his 30s. Like, he looks great. Yeah, he looks great. But at any time he's got to like get down to business. Shirt's coming off. And then we get Gal Gadot with what we thought was like the easiest kill in cinema history. Just spiking the champagne.
Just saw it coming from a million miles away.
That was the one thing in this movie where I'm like, oh yeah, he's fucking dead. Like right now.
He's dead.
But doesn't kill him. They keep doing that. They keep doing the jump scare like 3 times, and then I do like to think
funny every time.
I do like to think that when the bull slams the lead door on his head, that he does die. I like to think.
I think he's gonna wish that he was dead.
That's what I'm saying. For his sake, I hope he's dead.
Because if you come back from that, you're not functioning very well.
Yeah. They say that he looks like a muscular toddler. I appreciated that. And then we get another fantastic back and forth between Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. They're staring at a bowl. Tells him don't move. While all the guys are telling him to get the fuck out of there.
Run. Yeah.
And then you're talking about Jurassic Park. No, I watched a documentary. Was Jeff Goldblum in it? Oh my God, it was Jurassic Park. That's Jeff Goldblum. And then bam, he just gets leveled.
Right before, I mean, he does basically he says it in the way that we would say it. It's like, asshole. Like he says it with like the right inflection, which is the way we say it to each other when he realizes that the bull's about to nail him. Yeah, it's chef's kiss.
Yeah. So then they get out, they get on the train and all that stuff, and then they start talking about their plans.
Like hobos. Or whatever he said.
Yeah.
It's just like never ending. And he's one of the few people that can actually do the never ending. He's just never serious in a movie. And it still kind of works. Like, I don't know, like some people can do that and it gets really fucking annoying. And Reynolds has never gotten there for me. Like it's always kind of charming. So it's impressive.
Yeah. He is one of a kind. He's incredible.
I agree with that. I didn't mean to disparage his acting so much earlier. I was just saying.
Because that's why I said that's exactly how he would describe what he does on the screen. He fucks around.
That's what a lot of people do. That's what George Clooney does. George Clooney plays versions of George Clooney on stage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just like some people are naturally very charismatic and they can hit one note
and literally
really well. Excuse me.
Yeah. The only thing they need to do is just be themselves. You know how hard it is to just have to be yourself and in completely different situations still continue to be a fucking movie star? Like that's stupid.
And with Reynolds, I think that it actually means more for him because he, for the longest time, was not playing himself, was playing this like version of a leading man that he was never meant to play. I mean, you look at, he's actually not bad. I apologize. I can't remember the name of the movie, but he's a lawyer trying to help a lady get her picture back that the Nazis stole. And she's now trying to get it back from a museum. He plays like this lawyer he's really good. In it. Like he's really, really good in it. But it's also like you look back on it.
That sounds awesome.
Like you look back on it. Yeah. Helen Mirren's in it. It's good. It's I gotta look this. I'll get research on it.
Yeah.
But you know, the other movies that have been well documented that just didn't work for him. And then all of a sudden he plays Deadpool, which is just his personality come to life and everybody loves it. And now people just let him do his thing.
Yeah.
So it is cool for him. Like I'm really happy. Like it sounds weird to say like I'm happy for this guy who gets paid millions of dollars to like be in movies and work 2 months out of the year, but like I am sincerely happy for the guy.
Yeah, no, because the only other movie that he didn't, and even then he kind of did play himself in Waiting. I don't know if you've seen that, but he's hilarious in it. But that was well before he hit his stride.
Woman in Gold. Yeah, Helen Mirren and Ryan Reynolds are the leading.
Is it streaming anywhere?
It says it's on Pluto TV.
So no,
I don't know if you have that.
I'll have to ask around. No. Then they get out, they go to of course, while being tortured, Ryan Reynolds tells Gal Gadot that it's in Egypt. But of course, as I'm hoping everyone could have picked up on. No one tricks anybody in this movie. Everyone just always knows where everybody is at all times.
Everybody's too smart.
Yeah, so they go to Argentina. Now, Tim, do you fall under the faith or the gut vibe side?
I actually really empathized with Reynolds in this scene because I too am directionally challenged, and like my exact like that would have been me. I'd have been like flipping around the map. I'd have been like, shit, no, you're right. Maybe it goes this way.
Crap.
Like I actually am so bad at directions. I wouldn't have trusted myself to like hold the map. I would have been like, this is where it is on here. Need you to lead.
If Apple Maps can't lead you to it, you're not getting to it.
No, I'm out. And even if it can, sometimes I'm still not getting it.
And that's if you're not using your shitty phone. Their willingness to use Nazi stuff is bold.
It's I mean, look, there was callbacks all over the place to two big time movies, which are Indiana Jones and Oceans.
Because as
this was the Indiana Jones portion of it,
and they throws the shit down, you hear the metallic bang, they open up the thing, and then as they're walking down they walk down the stairs, he's whistling the Indiana Jones theme, and then they do the like Area 51 hall shot. That was really cool. And then the Father's Watch comes into play, Tim, in a very Nicolas Cage National Treasure. Could it be that?
I felt the National Treasure vibes.
Could it be that simple type of moment? Which that made me happy. Where really it's like, yes, Touched Nick Cage. Heart. Yes, Nick Cage. It can be that easy. And then right after the Indiana Jones Area 51 shot, we get the look for box that says MacGuffin.
Oh. Yeah,
I mean, obviously an Alfred Hitchcock reference.
That was solid. I mean, also the thing Reynolds like knows the car right off the bat.
It's a sick fucking car.
Everybody's just like, everybody's like the highest, most smart version of whatever person they're playing in this movie.
Well, but
he knows there's only 3 in the world, and then he's like 4.
So I will say, like that is a very famous car. I wouldn't have been able to like pick out the names of it and the year, but
and he had like all the trim. Yeah, like he had the exact trim that was on. Like it was hilarious, but it was also like when you think about like they made a bulletproof convertible. Like, Nazis, not the smartest group of people. I don't know. They didn't think through a lot.
I'm not going to give a butt there. I'm just not.
There's no but.
You're not going to catch me there.
Everybody credits them, for the VW or whatever, and it's like, they bad strategists and really horrible people, just generally. But
labels, Nazis, dum-dums.
Yep.
Just a box that says Cleopatra.
It's hilarious. Hilarious. I'm always about making fun of Nazis.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite tropes in movies.
Yeah. And who's going to defend
That's why I like Inglourious Bastards.
Absolutely. And I mean, not even Germans are going to defend Nazis. So,
in fact, they're weird. They actually tried to actually move on and learn. And
they took down the Hitler statues. Imagine that.
And all the memorabilia. Yeah.
Yeah. But Tim, you got to remember our heritage and our culture and our history.
Oh, yes.
Then we get the chase scene, which again, solid chase scene. Usually with chase scenes like this, I have, stuff to shit talk about it, but it was solid. And Gal Gadot even says, hey, we need to jump free of the car as they're jumping into the water. So then, they obviously fall into this little pond, lake, whatever area that they had right there. And then Ryan Reynolds comes out. He has the egg. He gets out. Doesn't see anybody else. And for a brief moment, he walks off the screen. Then comes back. Then acts like he's going to go off again. Then comes back again. Puts the egg down and starts screaming for the rock. So that means he picks The Rock over the egg. There's character development. So exciting. Didn't think I was going to get any character development in this movie.
Yeah. You know what's exciting about that is that like if you're gonna do a limbo lesson from this movie,
Yep.
it's that nice guys finish last.
Yep.
is what
Because
is the only thing that can be taken away from this.
Because there's actually a very solid twist at the end of this movie that I did not see coming whatsoever. I thought this was just a buddy cop movie.
Well, because The Rock plays a cop in like
Yeah.
how many? I guess it's just Fast and Furious, but it feels like a lot of movies.
Man,
I'm sure he's done it in another movie.
He just looks like a cop. 100% did not see The Rock and Gal Gadot not only being partners, but they're together, like romantically.
So I was thinking about this. So I know The Rock is with somebody else, but if you could think about like from a bodybuilding perspective,
Oh, Jesus, I knew you were going to go this way.
those two together,
Nope.
that's kind of hard to beat. That
Easy.
kid's kind of hard to beat.
Easily. I can easily beat it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that we've had this conversation.
The Rock and Serena Williams. Like, just come on. Instantly better. Serena Williams won a tennis major
I'm not
while
talking
pregnant.
I'm not talking about athleticism. I'm talking about just from like a pure symmetrical looks standpoint.
Okay, well, that couple already exists. That's Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my God. I literally said for a bot. Never mind. Okay. Just keep going. You're this is fucking
No,
stupid.
you're right. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, no,
right.
this is fucking
You're right.
stupid. Yeah.
But I will say, maybe I would have been able to pick up on that twist had I known chess, because there's two bishops. I don't know. Maybe. She shoots right next to his head, and then she goes, "Yeah, I'm not a Navy SEAL. Here you go."
Yeah.
I got. Yo, you're right. Fuck it. Here you go. This ain't worth it.
That gun's not loaded. It was in water. Boom. Yeah.
And then as they're walking away, he just yells, "I have no base, and this is a spray tan. Don't you guys have some sunblock?" She then so then we, they walk off with the eggs. They get all three of the eggs to the rich dude. There's this wedding in the middle of the desert in Egypt. The bride,
Really hate that daughter.
the bride sees the eggs, is impressed, knows that she needs to have a certain reaction, and then Ed Sheeran starts singing Perfect, and she loses her shit.
I hate this kid.
Running right by the eggs.
I really hate the daughter.
And then we see that Ed Sheeran's willing to fight.
Yeah, and they don't hide how short he is, which
Yeah.
I always enjoy because sometimes with famous people, they try to do different tricks.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran's short, like really fucking short. And,
He's like Tom Cruise short.
yeah, and they weren't afraid of it in this
Yeah.
one. Literally, they put like 10 people around him to show that he was like half their size.
Yeah. And apparently when the director was, trying to figure out, he wanted to do, a stunt cameo at the end. And apparently a friend of his knew Ed Sheeran's agent or something. Somehow he got his phone number.
Rich people know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reached out to him, and Ed Sheeran's reaction was apparently like, "I would love to do it. The weirder, the better." Which that's cool. That's cool when you're, a wealthy, famous person that, generally speaking, those people don't want to make fucking fools of themselves. He was very willing, and, just makes it seem like he's a cool guy.
I appreciate people who are willing to be self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
That way. I enjoy it because Sheeran even makes fun of his Game of Thrones thing, which is made out to like, you got to remember, like when it was like Ed Sheeran's going to be in Game of Thrones, people spent legitimately thousands of words on the internet determining who Ed Sheeran was going to be. And it turns out he's just a guy singing in the woods,
because that was before we had the letdown of the last season. That was like Game of Thrones at its peak it'll probably never be more
Don't-
important than that moment.
I don't know that they'll ever. I don't know we're gonna get another show like that where just everybody's in on a really nerdy level. Like it's hard to meet somebody now that's our age that has not seen that show. Like everybody,
and I guess
it's one of those universally loved shows that I don't think we're gonna get again.
And I guess nowadays the closest is like Squid Game. I don't know if you've watched that.
But it's not the same experience because it's
not fantasy.
It's the and it's the Netflix model where it's like everybody's at a different point. Like in order to have that like communal feeling to a show, you have to release every week.
I will say though, the Mandalorian has. I know that obviously
not
you
like
haven't
Thrones,
watched it.
Though.
No, it's not like Thrones. But I'm saying in the world of like the streaming era, Mandalorian's probably going to get the closest, and that's even with the built-in most famous IP that we have in human existence. So I think that's going a lot to your point. So then we get Ryan Reynolds again, because everybody knows where everybody is, goes to their boat, lets them know that he set them up, gets the quote, I hear tapeworms.
Yeah.
Well, I hear tapeworms are slimming, talking shit to Gal Gadot, obviously. And then, you weren't the only one who was crying after your lovemaking. It's not cheese, it's uncooked pork. And then we get the Fast and Furious.
Got the dig.
Cab. What's funny, Booth? Vin Diesel's audition tape for Cats? Because that exists.
I mean, here's the thing. The Rock couldn't say it because then it would have been too on the nose. Yeah. But somebody else saying it, and
But Ryan Reynolds, who's in the Fast and Furious universe, by the way. Ryan Reynolds is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Who's willing to just take an actual shot.
Who just doesn't give a fuck.
It was rumored, like in the week before this movie came out, that Vin Diesel had reached out to The Rock directly and asked him to be in the last movie. And that this happens where it's just a straight right through the back of the skull.
So the story is that The Rock didn't have anything to do with the joke. He did not know that the joke was happening.
Oh, yeah.
And the decision to have the joke in the movie was above his head and was a decision by the director.
The Rock is the most famous person on earth. This is like, no, seriously, this is like when.
No, it's bullshit.
It's like when your football team brings in a receiver and the quarterback's like, I had no idea this was happening. Or like when LeBron was like, I had nothing to do with getting these guys here. That first Lakers team, it's like, okay, yeah, they didn't run anything by you. They ran 0 moves by you. You're LeBron James, no, didn't happen. Not how it works. Whenever there's going to be a line like that will directly impact The Rock, of course he's going to come out and say, I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. But
did he know about it? 100%.
Just thought I'd say the official statement.
And here's the other thing. If he didn't like it, you don't think The Rock could have gotten something cut? You don't think he's had things cut before that made him look bad?
Vin Diesel knows the score. He knows.
He does now, not back in the day.
No, I'm saying he knows the score now. So then they all decide to team up together, and then the last shot of the movie is them standing in front of the Louvre, which there's no post mid-credits stinger, which you best believe I watched the whole way to make sure that there wasn't, because this felt like something that would definitely have one, but it didn't. I want to see 12 more of these, and I can't wait.
And it'll probably be done barring one of them getting very, very unnecessarily greedy over it.
Yeah, but I hope that this was, I can't tell you the last time I watched a movie and had this much fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was one of those, I haven't had a movie in a really long time that not only was that fun to watch, but you could just be on your phone for half of it if you wanted. And I basically was, and still get everything that was going on in a really in-depth way. Just not a lot of there, which I enjoyed.
But there was enough. There was enough to keep the movie, like, there is a plot. Like,
Here's the thing with Netflix movies that people, I don't think Netflix, because Netflix just counts like clicks. They don't count people who watch the whole movie.
Right.
So like a movie like Beckett comes out with John David Washington. I watched 5 minutes of that movie. I was bored to fucking tears and I turned it off. I was like,
it was terrible.
I can't believe someone actually like made this and put this out in the world. I'm out.
Yeah.
But that's with Netflix movies. That's what people do. Like it has to be really gripping and just like candy the entire time, or they're just going to click away from it because it's too easy to do.
Right.
You're not captivated or trapped. So I think Netflix is starting to really come into their own with these types of movies. They've done a lot of versions of these action movies before that have not been very good.
Yeah. I mean, they did the one with Chris Hemsworth, and then they did the one recently. I think it was Spencer Confidential, right?
Yeah, and I made the joke on my burner account. I was like, sometimes the Netflix algorithm feels like it's broken. This one made it feel like it was the TikTok algorithm. It felt like they just took TikTok and it was like every single thing that we know people love in movies, we're just going to do for 2 hours. We're just going to give you candy and soda, and it's what it is.
We were basically just missing, like, if it was truly TikTok's algorithm, it would have been Jason Derulo at the end instead of Ed Sheeran, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe because he's even becoming kind of the OG on there that people are like, you're really like doing this with us. But yeah, it felt very algorithmy, where it was just like, give me everything that I love about movies in general and just give it to me for 2 hours.
But it was an intelligent way of doing it, which, I mean, I guess when you have Ryan Reynolds, when you have Gal Gadot, you have The Rock, and you have a director that's made legitimately great movies, it works. So
yeah, and you know, it's hard to do a bad one with those three. Just is. I mean, even the stupid Red movies that have like 14 action hero movie act, like, are they terrible?
The Expendables.
But I enjoy them all because it's like that guy, just constantly, and you're just
right.
I mean, this movie was better than it needed to be. I'll say that.
It was great
for people to like watch it, because I only think it needed to be watchable for it. But because it's actually good, it broke the Netflix record for
92% audience score.
It broke the audience.
I'm done with the rotten. Yeah.
No, it broke the audience record. Like, it was the most people that watched it over a first weekend of any Netflix movie. Think about the Netflix movies.
And I'm pretty sure I even texted this to you when you sent it to me. I'm pretty sure Netflix is just going to keep saying that.
Yes. Well,
because what? Because why not?
Here's the thing: if we had,
who's going to tell them that they're wrong?
It's going to be. I have a conspiracy theory about Netflix, and this isn't like very far fetched. I really think they're a little Enron-y for this reason.
Oh,
they found a loophole. In the reporting systems, they found this very specific thing that they don't actually have to report, but is kind of the only thing you'd want to know about their business.
Yeah.
Like, how many
for
people
investors
use your shit and for how long?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we don't have to give it. We're not going to do it. It's like,
seems like a problem.
And by the way, they make a lot of money. They also lose more than they make. I don't believe they've ever turned a profit, which, again, Amazon did it for 20 years. I recognize that is a real business model. I'm not saying they're going belly up tomorrow because they're huge. I think last I checked, they're like a $500 billion company or somewhere thereabouts. But the whole, we don't have to report this thing, so we're just not going to, is like,
it seems like the chickens are going to come home to roost, or whatever the fuck that saying is, at a certain point, because like ultimately your valuation's based on what? Your valuation is based on, I mean, obviously valuations are based on what you think the company can do in the future, but that's based on, some companies it's sales, some companies it's viewers, some companies it's subscribers, and some it's daily active users. It certainly seems that if you're a stream only company that makes TV shows and movies, that one of the most, maybe not the most important, but one of the most important bits of data would be how often are people watching your stuff and which things are they watching now,
and for how long.
Their subscriber base, I would still assume, is still the most important by way
Still
of
the large, and they do report that because it's the number one subscriber base. But like the other streaming channels, Disney's been a little more secretive about their stuff. But I mean, the other streaming channels have been relatively open. Hulu, HBO are relatively open about how many viewers. Like Ozark was a popular show. How popular? I have no metric to suggest it. A lot of people saw it. A lot of people like it. As far as like how many individuals watch that show, you just have no idea.
Well, and then we thought we were going to get a window into what their actual numbers were when they said that they were going to start putting out a top 10 most popular list. But then you realize, wait, again,
it's all Netflix.
They could just be boosting whatever shit but not even their own stuff. But like maybe they're going to say, oh, the number one movie on here's some movie that we thought was going to get a lot more eyeballs, but now isn't. So now we're going to try and boost it to get 100%. More eyeballs to just kind of even out the playing field. But then you have
I don't like it.
Yeah. But then you have shows like Patriot Act with Hassan Minhaj
that was weird.
You certainly, I mean, it was
how much money did that show cost? How much could it have cost?
But not only that, it was a fucking conversation. Like, definitely more people talked about his show than Jon Stewart's show. And Jon Stewart's show's great. But, I mean, it was a daily, or not a daily, it was a weekly conversation. Whatever topic he was doing, because he was doing such a good job. And then it's just gone.
Some of the stuff that they've canceled it's been weird because, again, they have so much money. They can do whatever they decide to do.
Yeah.
So it's never like
they have cash. That's the specific thing that makes them an oddity. They don't make money, but they have cash.
Yes, and that's why they don't pay taxes because their tax code's very broken. Yes. But they're not like HBO. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying HBO has credit. Netflix is like,
well, and that's how they fund One American News Network.
Well, and that's how they have the world's shittiest sports streaming service on the face of the planet.
I've already done the rant. I fucking hate AT&T.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day. I think their earnings came out a few weeks ago, and I was like, you guys are still doing this? Like, again, you're not like Disney has a million different businesses. If they're like, and by the way, they gave the numbers on how many people streamed Black Widow versus how many people watched it. Netflix doesn't even do that. Like, all you are is a streaming platform. That's all Netflix is. They don't have
keeping your streaming metrics secret, even though you're a publicly fucking traded company. If they were still just a private company, I don't have to give you shit. We can keep saying that we have this many. Now, then you can get into fraud, but then prove it. But like, they're a publicly traded company now. That means that like there's certain like there's SEC shit that they have to deal with now.
But it's all financial. None of it's like we don't have any daily active user requirement for this stuff. Like,
shouldn't we though?
In the interest of being full, like especially in the era of Robinhood and other free trading sites, where you have a lot more retail investors that are getting into this stuff, maybe some better information other than this is how much money they made, which is so big now. It's like unfathomable.
And it doesn't make any sense because they made this much money and they spent this much money. So they're not making a profit. So like, as a just normal investor, and obviously this is a movie review of a Netflix movie, so that's why we're doing this at the end. But like, a normal investor doesn't know. You and I don't really know how to parse out revenue versus profit versus leverage versus assets. Like that, what are you can tell me that they're worth any number. They're like Tesla. You can tell me they're worth any number.
And we do, by the way.
Yeah, and who's to say that they're wrong? Allbirds, which love you guys, but they come out with a $2 billion valuation.
And they go to 4 in a day.
And it gets doubled. And it's like, okay, what is money? Like what are we talking here? Because that seems insane. Now, I'm currently wearing Allbirds shoes, the Tree Pipers. They're fucking awesome. But
get yourself a pair.
Yeah, get yourself a pair. But it just it feels like we're playing Monopoly at this point, which I don't think I'm being revelatory when I'm saying all this stuff, but it's just it becomes more and more apparent when it's just like, okay, a couple days after this big budget movie that we just released, oh yeah, by the way, it just broke one of our records. How do we know that? Just trust us. And now, because not only do we just say that,
and the stock popped on the news. I'm looking at it right now.
Exploded.
20 points a share.
Yep. Which is stupid.
It is stupid.
Stupid.
It is stupid because you don't know if they're lying or not. You have no idea. They have no evidence.
But if they're right, I don't even know what it means, because it's like, okay, it's the best for you guys. That could mean that you're doing better than any movie has ever done, or it could mean that you're doing numbers like First Reformed did, which, that's a deep cut for most people. Loved the movie, but not a lot of people saw it. So I don't have a reference point. When you say that it's the most viewed movie, I don't know what that truly means in the grand scheme of life.
Because again, I know probably a lot of people watch this movie, but it's not like a lot of other people in my life have been talking to me about it. Like some other people that I mentioned that I saw it was like, oh yeah, I saw that on my Netflix page. I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, I put that on my watch list or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, does that count as a play? Like what? Like you have no idea, because
there's no conversation about it. There's no I've tried to find it. There's articles about it, obviously, because it's Netflix and it's The Rock and it's Ryan Reynolds, it's Gadot. So obviously there's going to be different news outlets doing interviews and stories about it. But it had 5 of the most, or 4, Ed Sheeran and then the 3 stars in the movie, had 4 of the most visible human beings on the planet.
Yeah, I mean it should work. And I mean the thing with this is obviously the actors don't care, because they're making more money on these movies than they ever have in their life.
Which is why now it seems like Ryan Reynolds, outside of Deadpool, this is just what he's gonna do, because he did Six Underground, and
this is what he's gonna do.
Which, happy for him. Six Underground was great.
I can't believe The Rock doesn't have an exclusive. So I mean, I know that he's signed with Apple to do promotional stuff with them, but
is he really?
Yeah, that's why he always uses Apple phones in his movies.
I never know.
And he's one of the only people who's allowed to. Apple's very restrictive over who can use Apple iPhones. I'm surprised
they do let Steve Carell do it in the morning show.
Well, they all have them, but yeah, I don't know how The Rock hasn't signed an exclusive like that. It seems crazy to me that somebody hasn't just written the check.
Because I think he's to the point where he doesn't need to. I honestly think that he's to the point now, not only just financially but career wise, where LeBron was about 3-4 years ago. It's like, no, I'm just going to keep signing 1-2 year deals. Why would I lock myself in? Whereas The Rock, had he done that, he wouldn't be able to be Black Adam, which that's going to be a big fucking deal. And
yeah, I mean, it gives him bigger range. I'm just saying, if Netflix wanted to, they could write the $200 million check tomorrow
easily
for the next 5 years.
They could give him the Dave Chappelle deal.
The next 5 years, we're going to pay $200 million. It's like an NBA level deal, and you're going to make 5 movies for us.
Yeah.
and just Untitled. Like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and they
if The
can
Rock's
come
in
out
it-
whenever we want it to come out.
people are gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just it's a thought that I've had recently about Netflix. I'm not saying they're fraudulent. I'm saying that it appears weird that
No,
one of
it's
the
just-
things that you would care about, they're very secretive over, and I don't get that. That's really strange to me.
It has to change because where we're at right now, and specifically, and I don't even really think that there's really a correlation to other business models. It's specifically this one because, like, okay, yeah, Apple, we know how much they sell. We know how many people use their phones. Like we know all the stuff that you would want to know about Apple. Hell, we even know how much slave labor they use. Like, I'm not making that. I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm saying, like, we know all of this stuff, but because they make their products so good and there's not really a very legit competitor, we just continue to buy Apple products. So but that we're doing with eyes wide open. With Netflix, we don't know how they do any of their shit. And we don't know how they're doing outside of what they tell us. So we know it's a great idea, and we know they make a lot of content, and we know that they cut a lot of
people use it.
We know a lot of people use it.
Allegedly.
We know
a lot of people pay for it.
But we don't even really know that, do we?
No, we know subscriber numbers.
Okay. So
because you have to show revenue.
Yeah.
Like you have to show how much you make.
Sure.
Like that's the Dodd-Frank stuff. Like you used to really be able to fudge stuff.
Yeah.
Previous to Dodd-Frank.
Going back to Enron.
In the Enron. Yeah, you could. Yeah, this is what it is. See ya. I approve it. CEO approves it, whose bonus is based on the stock price. Yeah, I approve it. I mean, it really did used to be crazy.
Well, like with these streaming things like HBO Max, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, it just makes sense to me that they would need to show whether it's daily active users or if they're going to make claims that certain movies are doing certain things that
affect your stock price.
Then that creates like a lever that then forces you to release certain details about what that claim is or something. Like there has to be, they can't.
Otherwise it's bold-faced market manipulation when you're just like, it's the most watched Netflix movie ever. Oh, really? Stock price. I'm going to take Tesla private.
They could be. What's funny is they could be telling the truth and it not be that big of a deal because their numbers might not be that great. Like if they're going to sit there and say, yeah, it's the biggest one. Okay, but you're not lying, but you're hiding the ball, and that's dangerous.
No, I agree. I think it's weird. I think
there's like 9 different ways. There's like 9 different ways that they could be manipulating this in a way that makes it look way better than it's supposed to. And that's really, really, really important when it's a publicly traded company. So
they're the ones I'm calling bullshit on. Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, because they're the ones that make those claims all the time. But anyways, Limbo lesson.
I mean, I already kind of said it, but it's nice guys finish last. Don't stick up for your friends. Leave them on the beach. Run with the egg.
Always do you.
Get yours. Get yours.
Always do you. Always look out for number one. All that good stuff.
Yep. Those are all the lessons.
Yeah. Which perfect.
Hilarious.
My Brandy the Dog MVP. I've never had an easier one. It's Ryan Reynolds. I mean, there's one person that made me laugh every minute and a half in this movie, and it's him.
Yeah, he's one of the rare, because I don't think he's ever done like stand-up or anything like that. He's one of the rare people that's just funny in general. Like he's just funny to listen to, and he's really quirky, like in a not stand-up funny way. Because I mean, we've seen it go a lot of different ways with stand-ups in movies. I mean, I've never seen a Kevin Hart movie I thought was funny, just being honest. And he's really funny stand-up wise, so it doesn't always translate both ways.
Yeah. I mean, the only person that kind of comes to mind, the way that specifically Sean is going to like fucking jump off a cliff when I say this, but just hold on a second, buddy. Let me explain. The only person that really reminds me of the way that Ryan Reynolds is funny is English stand-up comedian Jimmy Carr. That the way that both of them are funny, it's not in stories, it's in lines. Jimmy Carr just does a lot of one-liners, but he's like the most refined. Like, he's a very good stand-up comedian. He's the most refined version of what Ryan Reynolds is. And because Ryan Reynolds does what he does, excuse me, he doesn't have to be all that refined, because his unrefined is he's a movie star. So anyways, yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Who do you want to be in this movie?
The Rock, without question. Always The Rock.
Really?
Just in general, in life.
See, okay. So
like in the movie,
before we realized that he's with Gal Gadot, I was gonna say Trace Comas guy.
Yeah, no, that guy seems miserable because he like killed his dad and he's like a gun runner and
Oh,
stuff. That doesn't seem like a very good life. Doesn't seem like like he's got a lot. Like The Rock has money and he seems to be like he's chilling out in a yacht, just waiting for the next thing to steal.
And
that seems pretty good.
And he's with Gal Gadot. Yeah. No, see, there's
sailing around the
Mediterranean
been, or whatever the fuck.
There's been a few times when we've done this where I thought 100% I know where I'm going with it, and then I hear what you have to say, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I was wrong. Yeah, you're right. It's The Rock, and there's
no answer.
It's by a mile. Let's see. Other than Ted Cruz, do we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well then, without further ado, if there's anyone that you could punch right in the face in this movie, who would it be?
You know, this might be the I want to be careful with this.
Based on what you said earlier, I'm pretty sure I know where you're going with this, and I'm just going to say tread carefully.
The Interpol police
in
this. Okay. I don't know who's in charge of them.
Okay.
But you are fucking horrendous. Hey, first of all, this guy walks up in a leather jacket and is like, I'm from the FBI. And you like just follow him. You follow him into the middle of nowhere to arrest this guy who allegedly stole an egg. You're just like, you're good with it. He walks onto a crime scene and he just does whatever the fuck he wants to.
Pours Dr. Pepper on what you think is like a priceless piece of treasure.
She makes some like cowboy comment, like no cowboy shit here, American boy. Like she knows who he is, but she clearly doesn't because he has no real credentials.
Don't worry, I left my chaps at home.
Yeah. Like he has no real credentials, so she doesn't know who he is. It's just weird. You guys did a bad job in this movie. Really bad job.
But he pulled up in a Porsche, Tim. So you got to trust him.
Was that his, or I thought he stole it?
I thought he pulled up in that one.
I thought he like takes the keys from the guy, and I don't know, whatever.
Who knows? Not a detail that was not a detail that was very integral to the plot. Interpol. Come on, let's get it together, guys. See mine. Oof. So Gal Gadot gets an honorable mention for giving The Rock a shot, like car jump level shock to the nuts. But I mean,
I actually just thought of the more obvious one.
Go ahead.
It's really hurting me
because I mean
Ryan Reynolds' Nazi sympathizing father is. I mean that's
weird. Perfect.
That's pretty weird.
There it is. That's
like someone who's obsessed with Nazi stuff in like a not really ironic way.
Yeah, in like I don't know, man. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, I just really like their stuff.
Yeah, like Mein Kampf. I didn't read Mein Kampf because like I believe in it. I'm just like,
I was just interested.
Yeah, I was just curious. I'm an intellectually curious person.
Hey, man, some of their paintings that they stole were great.
Yeah, and their cars are timeless pieces.
Oh yeah, no, he's that guy.
Yeah.
You can tell his little Nazi watch from a Nazi doctor or whatever that he was obsessed with. It's weird
that he like went to specific auctions for it and stuff. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds' dad. Perfect. So Tim, what are the people going to hear from us next?
It's tough, Tony, because it's really just whatever we're watching that week. I mean, it could be a TV show, it could be a movie, it could be sports, it could be politics. Just really depends on whatever you and I are into at that exact moment.
So here's what I'll say, though. I was getting at which movie are we going to do next, but I'm going to go ahead and just call my shot. I'm just going to do it because I'm going to force you. I need you to see this movie because I'm pretty sure you still haven't seen it. We're going to finally do No Time to Die. Needs to happen.
I think this is the second time we've actually said we're going to do it.
So yeah. This is good. Yeah. We're going to do it.
Guess the second time's the charm.
Absolutely. And on that note, Ryan Reynolds' dad in Red Notice, Ted Cruz, and everybody else that I've mentioned throughout this little bit that we do. Please. People who still keep daylight savings time a thing, please go fuck yourself. Elvis Monroe, please play us out.
One day, someday, fiction girl. She's my one day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Gotta have it, gonna call her baby. One day, someday. She's gonna call me baby, gonna have a family. I can see it in her eyes. Our future's so bright. Gonna wake up by his side. One day, someday. She's my one day, someday, fiction girl. She's my one day, someday.